Hello, welcome to class 13, our last class before the final. And today we're going to talk about some of the practical aspects of ethics. Um, Back to, I think it was week 6. Remember, I played that YouTube video for you guys of the bad behavioral bear who had numerous ethical violations, didn't have assessments, used technical language, didn't listen to families, didn't get consent, etc., etc., etc. And it was pretty easy for us, as you recall, if you read the ethical guidelines, um, to pick out the various codes that bad behavioral bear violated. I think the harder part, which isn't quite as obvious, is how would you approach him and give him feedback? Because as you know, in the code, it's very clear now that it is our responsibility as behavior analysts to the field to provide feedback when we think someone has created ethical violations. But that's not as easy to do as just identifying what those violations are. So I think Bailey and Birch in chapter 17 address that in their very typical user-friendly style. It's straightforward and talking about how to deliver the ethical message to other professionals, to clients, to family members, to supervisors. And recall that is one of the critical processes, if you will, that we've been talking about for resolving these ethical dilemmas. One, right, know the code. We have to understand where the potential violations are. But then the big part is we've got to be able to go to the right people and to provide that ethical message in an effective way, not just tick them off, not just report them, but you want to change behavior. And so, how to deliver that ethical message to other professionals, to clients, to family members, to supervisors. And I think that helps to round out really being an ethical behavior analyst. Chapter 18, I think, is very interesting. I think it was back in week 2, we talked about that risk benefit analysis, which I have been using myself and several other students that over the years as I've been teaching these ethics classes have told me, come back and said, I've been using those risk benefit analyses and it's really been useful in terms of actually avoiding some ethical dilemmas. And I think in chapter 18, Bailey and Birch are taking it to the next step, which is they're talking about using a specific declaration of professional practice and procedures for behavior analysts as a way to prevent many ethical problems from occurring in the first place. So I want you to read chapter 18 using a declaration of professional services. I'm very interested in your take on that and how useful you think that might be, or if some of you have done that. But again, as we've talked about, you're going to get yourself in ethical dilemmas if you're doing good work. It's just part of the course. But you can also avoid a lot of them, which obviously makes it a lot simpler. And that's really what Chapter 18 is talking about. Another way to sort of formalize and make it very clear in writing to everybody, this is exactly what I'm going to do. This is who I am. This is what I'm going to do. These are the risks and the benefits. This is my conduct code. These are your responsibilities, and clarifying it for everyone in anticipation of avoiding having an ethical dilemma in the first place. All right, so this week I want you to read Bailey and Birch, chapters 17 and 18, and do the assignment, which is, again, tell me sort of the take-home points from these chapters. And as I said, I'm interested in your honest perception of how useful you think a declaration of professional services would be. All right, have a good week.